Okay, I think so. We are live. Let me double check. Okay. Right. Okay. I think we are already live. So let me just go ahead and put this thing on my Telegram channel and also on one of the community WhatsApp group. Right. So, okay. So let me first share my screen and let me try to share what we have did yesterday. So let me share the screen and I think so it should be visible now. Okay. So if you remember right, yesterday we were working on the front end part of this trim URL. Okay, I think we need to run the backend again because I just now restarted my MacBook. So let's see if I can run the application. Let me again put up the link to the respective groups. Okay. Now, so what I need to do, let's go back to the Visual Studio Code and here, okay, I think so the project is not running. So I need to run this. So .NET run with the profile HTTPS and now it is working fine and we can open the Swagger document. Let's see. If there is any issue with the audio, please let me know. If there is any issue with the audio, okay. Now let me take a look. Okay, I need to open up the Visual Studio Code, which is already running, and the Swagger URL has to go here. Okay, let me put this here so that our button both are on the same browser. Okay, here is the Swagger, and if you remember, yesterday we have completed this API integration of Post, and today we are on the Get one, which is this, right, where we need to have the page index, this page size and all of this kind of a search. Okay, or rather maybe I can focus on this one first, as I told you. Or maybe we can see like which one is better for us. And right, let me see if we have people here. Okay, I can see one comment from Dipali. Okay, hello, thank you so much Dipali for your hello. All right, so let me go here and try to show you the what is the another page what we need to develop. So we had a URL page, if you remember, just to show you like how things are configured. We can take a look here in the routes. Yesterday we had routes where we have home and URL, but now I need to have somehow there should be some button which basically helps me to navigate between home and URL. So what I'm thinking to go ahead and create a component, and that component I will be creating it here. So going to be my core components. So because core component is something you create when you remember that this will be used only one time, something like that. So maybe I'll create this core folder. This has to be outside, and inside that I have my components, and in the component I'm going to have my first component, which is header.ts, right? And I will be doing the same thing. I have to create a component. So the component is our TypeScript class, and which is decorated by @component, and inside that I will have the meta tags, something like this template, and this is what I will be keeping. And this is already a standalone component, so I don't have to specify here as a standalone. Now we need to create a header. So this is how the header thingy will look like, and yeah, something like this. And inside the header I can have my navs, right? And in the nav you will have these things. So let me have a class. Let's see what it basically gives. All right, this is helping me with bootstrap classes. I'm damn sure this is not correct, right? So but this is what I'm expecting. I will have a class, right? Class I will having here as a flex. Okay, and flex, there should be justify between item center, BG grid, B. Okay, but let me go with Indigo. How things looks here. This will be my home, and then I will have this DivX with this. Okay, this is what was expected, right? So now I have a nav. Inside that, I have one which is will act as my title of the header, and what you see here, this div will basically will act as my how do I want to say, this div will act as your the options, right? The navigation option, what you need to choose from the right hand side. Maybe I can show you how things will look like. So what we can do, so our header is ready. Now let me put this as default. No need to put default because this is not we are going to use in the routing. This is just a selector which we have to use in the app HTML. Okay, app.ts first. Let's go here. So if you remember right, now we are creating a standalone component, and if it is a standalone component, then you have to import it to use. So I will be importing the header, and let me go and do a quick fix. Header is this. Okay, header, and this header I have to go and import like put it here in the center. So what I see here is at the moment that I am actually I have added this flex and everything, okay, to the router outlet. So maybe over here I can put the header at the moment, and let's see how things looks like. Okay, save the changes and let's go back and see. Okay, nice. Looks good, to be honest. So I have my the logo here basically which act as like what is this application, and here we have the option. So we have home and URL. I'm still not satisfied with the hover effects. So what I can do here, I need to say cursor pointer, and same goes with here as well. So this should be cursor pointer and cursor pointer here as well. And now if I could go to the home, if I click on URL, it should go to the URL, but this doesn't seems to be. And I know the reason why, because you are using router link, and I still have a complaint with Angular because this router link, this should basically give me some warning like, hey, you haven't imported the router link class here to use this in your HTML. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So you will have a imports, and in the imports here you have to put here as router link, which is coming from Angular/router. Okay, once you have this, and now if you see, this will work automatically if I'm not wrong. Can you see the magic now? So the moment you add this, so now our routing works perfectly fine. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions in the comment. So I have a question from Ayush Patel. I want to implement the microservices in Angular project. So please suggest me. So when you say microservice in Angular, I think you are referring more towards micro front end. Basically, you can have a micro front end kind of a setup, but that really depends, to be honest. Like I just cannot tell you that, hey, go ahead and start creating your application from scratch with micro front end, because that is not the recommended way. The good way would be to try to architect your project in terms of a features, or you can say modules. I'm not saying ng module here, but try to like create them as a modular way. Okay, and based on that, like if you see there is a really requirement that this, like for example, your project is growing and your team size is growing, um, at that point of time, I would say then it's a decision of an architect basically to decide like should we really go to this or not. Like because before even going to micro frontend, I will propose monorepos, and for monorepos I think you can, the first thing what comes in my mind is NX, so you can go with NX monorepo. And then only I would prefer to go to the like because I don't want to complicate my things, because what happens, right, like maybe you know about microfinance but the other team members are not aware of it, and that becomes another headache basically, and things can slow down like over the time. So that's why I say like even for this stream URL I cannot go with a micro front end, right, because it's just a 2-3 page application. But again, it really depends. But in just in case if you are looking for to do you are wanted to just as a learning purpose, I think there is something called as Native Federation, which is recently released. Not recently, it is there here since so long. But yeah, uh, I have explored this a lot. Like you can try to use this in your project if you are really looking for it. They have well documented like how you can set up and stuff like that. Can you see we have the demo repos and everything? So I think this is one of the package I would recommend you if you are looking for something to do with the micro front ends. Not microservice, but microservice is something what you relate in backend. I hope I was able to answer your question. Let me take another question and then maybe we can continue with our development. Kingsley, okay, so I really would have loved to be proficient in Angular, but seems Angular has a steep learning curve. Too, I was using it to implement storybook components. Yep. Oh yeah. Okay. What I would say, right? So I'm just trying to follow this fundamental that change is the only constant thing in life, and same is I think the same case is for the Angular as well. But the change is for good, to be honest. Like if you compare what we were in Angular 14 and below versus what Angular basically is going towards with after Angular version 16 and above, with I think things got changed from standalone, then we got control for syntax, those differ, then signal was there. Now there is something called as zoneless, what we just recently got, like now it is stable from Angular version 20. And then there is also something called as signal forms, right? And I think all of this change is for good, like is for the betterment of Angular. And I know this thing will be quite challenging if you are an Angular developer who has worked on version lower versions. So but also think in that direction, that imagine now a new developer, there is a college student now, he will be transitioning to a developer, and when he sees Angular now, so it will be easier for him to adapt. um, I can give a very good example now. Like for example, let's talk about modular approach of Angular. Okay, when we don't had standalone components. So imagine now I'm a beginner and I just want to create a component. So okay, so just to have a very small user profile component, I will first have to create a user module, and I will have to declare my component there. Then if I want to use that component anywhere else, then I have to export my component. I will have to put all my imports in the particular module. Imagine user components have like want to use avatar component, but he has to first import the model and then use it here. So I think so that was not the correct way, I would say, because a component should be responsible for its own dependencies. So that's why I think Angular team came up with this new authoring, which is standalone component now. So now you have your own component, and that component can handle its own dependencies. So whatever I think things are coming, I think everything is coming for a good. So always try to see the positive side of it. Okay, why we are having this change and how this can make this framework better over the time. Hello, Sushant. And don't call me sir, you can call me Shashi, it's fine. Okay, so let's go back so to our front end thing. So now we have a header here, which and over there we have this option basically to do the navigation, right? As I told you, right, like I'm not so happy about this current front end setup, so let me try to improve it to some extent. So let's go back to your HTML, and now I don't want to do this. So I'm not interested to make this um, center now. So save the changes. So this is what it is. So now I have a white main screen, which is good. And then we have this PG gray, that's fine. Now what I can do now, I can go in the pages in the home, and over here, can we have a container, and can we make it MX auto just to make it center? Yes. And what we can do, we can add some padding to this. Okay, not so good, I guess it's helping that much. But yeah, so like this, and then maybe we can add some height, then maybe we can use flex. Yeah, then we don't need to have this MX auto. Let me put some height as 96, and then we can do justify center item center. Okay, I did some mistake. Okay, I know what is that. Let me still stick with MX Auto for now, and let's see if margin does the job. Yeah, so this is okay. Okay, adding doesn't work because I'm using MX Auto, that's why. And I can get rid of this color, I guess, which basically breaks at, yeah. Okay, so this is nice. And then what I'll have a shadow to my card. So let me go ahead and increase the shadow to 2XL. Yes, so this adds something there, and we can add a border. Okay, to make it not so good. Let me, yeah, this is okay because that's what we are trying to follow, the square pattern everywhere. Even if you're right, we have that square pattern thing with the borders. Okay, so now this is what I have here, and let's see like how we can proceed. Okay, let's see if the yesterday what we were doing is still working or not. Interview helper. Let me get some URL, which is this. Let's go back, put it here, short the URL. Yeah, shorten URL came, and then again we have the box structure, and yeah, it works fine. Right, so now our main focus for today is this guy, and we need to we need to make this beautiful now. So for that, what I will require, let's, and now here we have this container MX Auto, which is good, and just above this I will have a title, which is my URL list. Yes, and can I make it, yes, text indigo 800 or maybe 700. It is for header, so that, yeah, there is still a difference. Let's go with the same number. So we have the URLs. Okay, and just on the right hand side we can have the search. Okay, so for the search, let me put this as a div, and this is going to be my class relative. Okay, and inside that I can have an input, which basically will does the job, and I can have an icon element here. Correct. What this will do, I don't know. So let me put a class. Okay. Oh, right. Or maybe try to add the search here, something like that. Okay. So now what we need to do, right? So now I have this, width full. I don't need to keep. Maybe I can, yeah, just keep it this much short, I guess. Yeah. And I need to work on. Okay, I think I still did small mistake. So this I can wrap it inside a div and put it here like this. I hope things are making sense here because I'm just trying to wrap this as a div, and then we can have a class where we'll use flex, justify in, and item center. Okay, that's the job, and need to have this. Yes, looks okay. Looks okay. Now I will have a search. Hmm, what else I can do? Can I add one more class here? Max W access. Maybe MD. Max width. Okay, it will not work because we have to. Uh, we need to change the size. Let's see how we can do that. So we can have width, I guess. Yep, this is much better. 64, and here we can basically try to search about our URL here, and that's pretty much it. But if you remember, we are using an icon, so let me try to grab font awesome. I think so. This could work. Now we have 7. Yeah, there was a way, I remember. Okay, they will send it to me on. Let me do that. I think that there is some URL you can get. Uh, Yeah, I don't want to log in actually. Let's see if there is a way to get font awesome. Okay, font awesome URL CDN. Let's see if they can, if they have it. Yes, so we can have this copy link to URL. Yes, and then what we need to do, we have to go here in the index. You can put it here. Is this? Let's see if that makes. If not, we can see. Okay, yeah. Can you see now? We have the search icon which is coming from the font also. Okay. All right. So now what I need to do? We need to integrate the API here. So that's what I'm thinking. How should I do it? Okay, so let me make use of changes, right? What Angular has now, which is HTTP resource, or we can go with RX the fetching. But before that, yeah, we have this. Okay, we have this created. That is good. And let's open up your Visual Studio Code again. I remember I had a service created in the shared. Yes. Now we need to have a get URL, and I need to return HTTP resource. Correct. What HTTP resource has, it basically can send a URL here. Correct. You can do the fetching of the URL. So there is a loader or something, stream, something like that. Let me go ahead and try to identify how what all things we need. Maybe we can just go and search about HTTP resource. This is something new. What I'm also trying to use. Let's try to figure out this blog. Okay, what is the syntax now for this HTTP resource? HTTP resource, and here we just need to pass in the URL, and that's pretty much it, I guess. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we have this HTTP resource of URL DTO, and that's all. Is it? Is missing the following type. Okay, yeah, because we don't have a correct path here. So what we can say, right? We okay. Let me get rid of this type first, and I'll tell you how we can basically make this as a type. So we can say const data. You can hover and you can see. Okay, so what it returns an HTTP resource of this, and that you can basically specify here as a type. Okay, I think I can do that. Yes, and I all I need to do is just go ahead and return the data from here. That's pretty much it. So now let's see what this get URL basically gives us. So now get all URLs, we have to use it here. Okay, now so let's go ahead and inject the API. So we have private read only URL API. I'm not sure why, but today my GitHub Copilot is not in a good mood. It just gives me a very wrong values here. So that's fine. So now we have a URL API, and then we can say we have URLs, and this is what I will get. So now here we have an HTTP resource, which is my URLs, and what I can do here basically. So this is my TR, which is going to be repeated here. Okay, if I'm not wrong, yes. So I can do this cut. Okay, not bad. Okay. Um, okay, so this is at the rate for, and yep, much better. So you can say URL resource, and I can say resource dot data or something, or value. Yes, those value, and you can track what you can track item dot id, and inside that you can put your, yeah, the TD basically. Let's see. Okay, right, this looks good. I don't need click at the moment. Okay, and then I can import a date pipe. So let's go on the top, and we can have an import, and this import will be, because if you see right here I'm getting an error, I'm using a date pipe. So you need to import the date pipe. This is what you have to do if you are on standalone. And can you see now, this is the new HTTP resource what I'm trying to use, and this thing, all thing makes my code quite declarative. Okay, and let's see now if I'm able to get the data. Okay, so I have a bunch of, okay, because I did a mistake there. I know. So we have a TR, and that TR has to be repeated because that's a row, right? So can get rid of this, put it here, get rid of this, and I need to put it here. And this looks okay now. Right, so this is what was the expectation, and now I can change this delete to some icon. So let's go back here, and this can be changed to icon. We can use a class. I don't know why this every time comes like this, but yes. So this you can remove. And then this will be fast for trash. Please don't give me this delete every time. I don't want that now. Okay, so this is what we got, and just sure to add this line as well, which is cursor pointer. Please GitHub, please don't make me disable you. Okay, so now this is what I have. So we have a delete, and we will be implementing that. No worries. But can you see now there is one small issue here, that we are not able to get the shortened URL. The reason being, if you see the network tab, what we have here. So over here, can you see now, we don't have something called as a short URL. We have a URL code, which is, this is what basically creating a problem. And let's see how we can fix this somehow. I think the issue is in the backend, how the API is returning the response. Front end is doing its job correctly, but the API is not sending the correct data. So that is a problem. So what we can do, I just need to check if HTTP resource can help me here with some pagination record. Let's see if they have something like that. I just need to check what all things this HTTP resource has. Okay, so we have URL body what you can pass, body params, header. Mm-hmm. Okay, can we call HTTP resource on demand? That is my question actually. Let's see what happens. So Sushant is asking me, in India or outside. So currently I'm in Dubai, Sushant. So maybe that's why this is quite late in India, I guess. So that's why I'm saying late night stream, because I know it will be quite late in India. I think India is 1.5 hour ahead than me. Okay, so I just wanted to test something about this HTTP resource. So I know there is something called as reload option, which I don't want to use now. But let's see if this makes sense. So I'll say load, and what will happen during load, I will just say, this is section, I know this have a reload option, but what if I say here this dot URL API dot get your, I just need to do this, and I need to have a button. This is just for testing purpose, guys. So even I'm trying to explore this HTTP resource, how this basically works. Not create, I'll just say here load. Save the changes and let's go back. Now, yeah, initially it's fine. If I click on load, yeah, nothing happens. Maybe because I haven't added the click event. Click and I need to call the load. Okay. Save and let's see. So if I click on load, yeah, I can see an error, and this is what this was expected because this HTTP resource can be only used within an injection context such as constructor, factory functions, or a field initializer. Okay, this was that's why I was like a bit skeptical to use pagination here, because I know whenever you want to load the page, like when the page is loading at that time, if you want to do some get, you can do that with this HTTP resource, or else you will have somehow try to run it in the injection context. And let me tell you what exactly that injection context is. You need to use something like run in injection context, and this guy, if I'm not wrong, have you need to pass an injector, and this is what injector looks like. To inject the injector, I don't support this, to be honest. I'm not so a fan of this. So you need to pass an injector, and this is where you need to call your resource URL, I guess something like this you need to do, if I'm not wrong. And that's where it will basically work. Can you see now? If I click on load, so now it is basically calling the API and there is no error. Every time I click, there is a load. Okay, but again, that is, I won't recommend this. I don't know, like I'm not sure like the usage of this, like when only thing is when I use it with quite caution, like with caution. Like I don't have to, like, don't try to abuse this feature. That's what I have heard from the community. So I try to avoid this as much as possible. Yeah, but if you want to get on demand, if you want to use HTTP resource on demand, then this is the way you can this run in injection context, and in the context you can basically do the call. Okay, right, so this is what it is. But what maybe I can do now, let's focus on the observer at the moment, and maybe I can check something for you, if you can, if we can, if at all we can use resource in such a way to do the pagination, because I'm not so sure about that at the moment. Okay, now, so for that, what I need to do, I need to go in this API URL and I need to get rid of this at the moment. And again, I will switch back to observable. Okay, let's remove this. And now you need to change a lot of things here. So let me get rid of this first of all. Now you need to start looking at your Swagger documentation, because that is now very important here. I'll tell you why. Because now you have to pass query params. Okay, you need to pass page index, you need to pass page size, and you need to pass search term if there is any search term. Okay, right, so now how we can achieve this? So that is a question in Angular. Okay, just in case if you want to see how the request will look like, so let me show you. So page index is 1, page size is 4, and if you search that like Angular, like it will just search few value for you, right? Wherever you have Angular mentioned, can you see? Wherever we have Angular, this guy was able to fetch it, and this is how the response body looks like. Okay. So now what I need to do here is we need to copy this. Okay, and we need to use it somewhere. And this is what I was talking about. Like this is how you need to pass it. Okay, we can take a look, that's not a problem. But what I need to create an interface, basically a type. So I'll use JSON to TS, and inside this paste this, and I need this, so I'll copy this, and now I'll go inside my type. I'll create a type. This is my paste URL response, correct, .ts. Again, export, let me paste it, already I have copied. So this will be my paste paste URL response, and this guy will be nothing but what? This is my URL, and this URL I can pass it over here, which is an array of URL. So where I have ID, long URL, short URL, and created tag, right? So this looks good to me, and I can use this paste URL response. If you want, you can change it to type. Up to you. So you can change it to type, and this also can be changed to type, and you just need to update it like this. That's all. So now what we can do here, we have to basically tell that, hey, whenever I will be calling this, you need to have get paste URL, and in the page here you need to pass page number and do something like this. Can you see now AI is already helping me? And there is also something called as search term, and this is an optional one, if you remember there, right? This was optional. Can you see this is optional? Like if you don't have this, still it works. So which means these two are required, which means you need to have a page number and the size. But the search term is optional. But can you also add that here? Yes, you can do that. And how you can do that? Just okay. Like even if it is null, then it should not create a problem, but yeah, it's just to be safe, that's all. So now this will to page URL response, which you can import the type what we have created. And now what we need to do, we just need to call this. Okay, we just need to call this value inside this url.ts, correct? Okay, so what we will do here, so can we directly use, I think so we should go with that approach. I'm just thinking. Okay, yeah, we can make use of URLs with a dollar sign, or I'll say paste URL response, and then we can just say here, hey, this dot URL dot get paste URL. Okay, so now what this guy has, so this guy is basically fetching page number is 1 we need, and the page size should be 10, which means on the first page I should have 10 records. Okay, so this is what this guy will do. I'll show you its magic to you guys, no worries. So now as we have an observable of page URL response, so what we can do, we can make use of a sync pipe. Okay, um, I was just thinking, should we rather use signal, so that we don't need to focus more on this async thing. So okay, I'll tell you another way. Wait, I'll show you that way of we can still use signals here, and I'll show you how. Okay, now we have this page URL response, and what we can do, basically this guy returns an observable. So what we can do, right, we can convert this observable to signal. So there is something called as to signal, and this is what you can give. Let me wait, that's fine, and we need to import this as well. Okay, I don't know where this to signal comes from. I think this is not from here. To signal, maybe I'm missing something. Let me see the import. To signal import. So if you go here to signal, you will, okay, so this is coming from core slash rx interrupts. Okay, come on, come on guys, I was expecting something where I can see the import basically, but yeah, here you can see we are getting it from here, thanks to Gemini, and that we can basically here. So import to signals rxjs interrupt, yeah. And now basically what we can do, let me get rid of this and let me put it here directly, this dot API, correct, dot get paste URL, and here you can also set some initial value, which is nice. Okay, oh yeah, we have this here, we have an initial value which we can set it to null if we want. Very great thing, I would say. Yeah, so now we haven't, so now we don't need to subscribe and unsubscribe, because now we are using directly signal, so we have to use async pipe and do the imports and stuff. So now this page URL response is a signal. So if you go here, so I can say that page URL response dot. Okay, so this dot will not work because this is a signal. So you can say dot, and there we need to have this data, and this data has is nothing but our URLs. Okay, and now this data will have ID, long URL, short URL, and this stuff like that. If you save the changes, see how much declarative we have made our code here. So this is called as declarative programming. Okay, imperative, try to avoid imperative as much as you can. And now if I go back, if I go to the list, so this is URLs. Okay, if I go to this URL, and my expectation is it should fetch the value. I think so, it is fetching it, yes, but it was not showing it there. What was the issue? Mhm. So if I see the payload, okay, I know, I think so. Because now this is still fetching everything, but that is not the case. We need to change the API endpoint to paged URL, right? That's why. So let's go and update our API endpoint because it is not pointing to our endpoint. That's why. So let's go to this API endpoint, and now here change it to paged URL. Save the changes, and let's go back here, and it gives me an error now. Let's see why. So we have page URL, we have a page. Ah, yes, because here if you take a look, that's why I say, right, always try to follow the documentation. We need to pass here page index. Okay, we need to pass here page index, and this is my page size. So we need to make sure that this is correct. This should match so that it should give us the correct result, and this should be searched. So let me just double check if it is correct. Yes, this one is correct. Let's go back. Let's go back, and now if I refresh, it is still sending page. I don't know why. Did my application didn't load? Yeah, it loads successfully. Okay, wow, I did again a mistake. So the problem was not this. Let me again go back. Go back. Yes, so this was the problem, and I'm trying to fix some other solution which is so wrong. This should be changed to page index, which is my page, and this should change to page size. Save the changes, and now it should work. See, now it is working fine. Now this is what I was talking about. So now if you take a look, right, so now here I have 10 records, correct? What if I change the size to 3? So if I go here, currently this page URL says that, hey, your page number is 1. I want to fetch the first page initially, and then I need you to have a page size of 10. Now if I change it to 3, let's see what happens. So now with the pagination, it will only fetch 3 record. But Shashi, what about the next record? Like how can we get the next record? And that's where pagination can come into picture. Okay, so I think this is the right time for me to add that UI first. So maybe we can have here in the center where we will have next page and previous page. And why I'm saying you that, let me tell you. So if you go in the network tab, and if you go here, can you see now? I have, this is how my object basically looks like. So I have total 5 pages. Total count is total. There is 4 records. So the page index is first, and page size is 3, which means 3 records, right, per page. And see the magic of the backend. Like backend is already providing the state has next page true and has previous page false, right? Now let me use basically utilize this object data and put it here as some kind of a pagination. So let me open up this, and let me identify where should I have that pagination thing. So this is my table, which is this, and just below this I should have a pagination. Yes, great job AI. Okay, I don't have to do, I just need to press tab, and that's all. That's all, guys. Okay, if I save this, and let's see what I get. Perfect. So this is what I got. I have got a next and previous here, and if I click on next, it should basically call the API with the next page. And here you can see, right, we have total 5 pages and we are on the first page now, thanks to GitHub Copilot. Let me take a question. I think I saw one interesting question here from Yashwant. So for the material UI, the pagination like for item per page to item per section. Yes, that's okay. I know what you mean. So we need to have a drop down here on the right, which will basically change like how many data you want per pages. So yes, we can do that. Yeah, we will basically give it a shot before I end the stream. Yes, thanks for that question, Yashwant. Yes, we can do that, and maybe we will try to do it as well. So let me first try to fix this. Because that's why, right, like you just cannot. That's what I was explaining yesterday, that you cannot rely completely on AI, because that is not what I wanted. So this previous page, so justify between, I can remove for now. Yes, and then I have this thing, so I can have a, can I have a gap? Yes. So gap, I can put it as 4, and this is what it is. And justify center should do the job for me. Yes, I wanted it to be in the center of the page, and then I have previous and next. I need to also have a disable state. So how can I add that? Right? So if I add a disable state, then the opacity should change. So if I say here opacity 50, yes. So this is a kind of a disable state. Okay. Um, I can actually do that because, yeah, because why I need this, right? Well, like for example, now if just in case if it able, so this is what I need to show. So this class we can add it dynamically. So we can do a dynamic class binding, and how we can do that. Let me show you. So I don't know if disabled basically works here. Yeah, can you see now? It doesn't work. So we need to add basically a class or some kind of a style, button. I'm just giving it a try. That, and if it is disabled, something like this maybe we can do globally, but this is incorrect if I'm not wrong. So there should be a way. Yeah, something like this. Change it to Indigo 400, and yeah, something like this. So this is what the and now I can use it in the HTML as well wherever it is required. So again, if I go back to the url.ts, and this is what I can use. So if it is disabled, okay, same thing I need to put it here as well, correct? So disabled when I don't have next page, right? So currently this is enabled because we are not on the last page. And what else we can do to, let me, I'm just thinking something else. I'm just trying to imagine what else we do. So to station, the video quality is bad even at 1080p. It looks like 3GP. Okay, let me check what is my speed. Let me do a speed test. Okay, I know like some people has faced the same issue yesterday, but I tried my best actually. Speed looks okay to me. It's 3. I don't know what is wrong because I'm using this software and I don't know if this is the issue or my speed is the issue. Okay, uploading speed is bit less. Video stream. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me see. Like you can see some result here. It basically tells uh, how good it is. I can see that it's quite browsing quality is good, gaming quality is good, streaming is good, voice call quality is also, yeah, it's good only. I really don't know what could be the issue here. Maybe I'll see if I can change something. Change something. I'm not sure. Like, damn, I have 30 Mbps. That's not a problem. 30 Mbps is still okay, but this is what I wanted to show. Like, I don't know what's going wrong. Maybe it's the. I don't want to blame completely on the software. I really don't know, because what I see, the speed here, I think it should be capable enough to stream better on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to see if I can change some software or something. Okay, let's go back and let's see now how we can basically handle this next and previous. So what we can do now? So what we will do? Okay, so handle page change, and we can pass a page number here. Correct? We can pass a page number here, and okay, I don't want this. This is so long. I don't want to do that because I have an API to do it. So this dot URL dot get page, and you can pass a new page, and this is your the page number, which I don't like. So what I can do, I can create a const page size. So currently it is 3, so you can copy this page size and put it over here as well. You can handle it something like this. So page URL response. Okay, if you, I think so, this is not writable. I think so, it is not writable. Let's see. Exactly. This is one issue. Now, what I see, this is one issue. If I'm relying on this, so there is one issue, because now you cannot set, because this is not, when you create a two signal, right? This is not a writable signal. So now what we can do is we can convert this into a writable signal by using a linked signal, if I'm not wrong. Maybe I'm just trying to explore all the feature what I have. Okay, so let me just take a look. Okay, let me go ahead and try to see how I can create that. So this is my page URL response signal. So I can say paste URL signal, and yeah, that's okay. I can do, I can say that paste URL response, and this here I can use a linked signal, and you can pass this page URL signal here. And now what you can do, you can basically go and change page URL response, and now you can make use of set. Just you need to make sure that same thing is used above. Oh, where is my, okay, this is my table, and yeah, this is page URL response, which is correct. I think so. I think this should still work. And yeah, okay, do we have any questions? So if you can check, if you can check in some other device, you will see audio is also lagging, but keep up the good work. Thanks for the feedback, but yeah, I will definitely gonna work on this one so that I can provide a good stream. Maybe I'll try again tomorrow to change my streaming software. Okay, I have a very good question from you again. From where you learned Angular from scratch? Please don't say docs. Any course or something you followed? Trust me when I say this. Doc is something is only helpful for me initially. So I'm still gonna say that doc thing here. Again, I'm not saying completely rely on that. Like put your days and nights in the docs. No, that's not the case. But initially, maybe you can just need to understand few, like try to understand. Okay, what is a signal? Try to read about it, how it basically looks, and all of those. That's it. But if you ask me about videos, because for me, I remember right, I used to go on YouTube and just search search about a topic. I just cannot recommend you a channel name because I also don't know. Well, that's why I came up with the channel, because I didn't got some good content back then. So that's why I came up with my channel, where like whatever I have learned from XYZ places, try to centralize them and put it as a one video. But what I will recommend, try to search about any topic. I think there is Decoded Front End. I think he's doing a great job already in this ecosystem. There is Angular University YouTube channel. There is also Learning Partner. I think he is one of my friend. He is basically doing a great job by actually creating projects and showing it to people. Okay, how you can work with Angular just all by creating a real time project. So that is a great thing what he is currently doing, and I'm trying my best basically to do the same thing by coming live and trying to show you okay how to basically work with an Angular app. So can you see now one of the problem we have just now solved by linked signal. Hmm. Something like that. But yeah, courses, trust me man, I have no idea about courses, like what course you can follow. I would say try to search about topic, because try to first create a roadmap for yourself. Okay, how what all topics you're going to learn in Angular. For example, what is component, that is the basic thing, like that's how everything is made in front end. Search about component, search about directives, search about what are pipes, then search about what is forms in Angular, what is template driven form, what is reactive form. And now there is a new thing in Angular which is signal. So try to search about this topic signal. Like the moment you say signal, there are a lot of things comes. There is linked signal, there is new signal inputs, and all of those. So try to target topic, learn about them, and try to implement that small piece of thing what you learned into a small project. Okay, and maybe by doing this, maybe you can try it for 1 month or 2 months, and then you can see if this thing is help, this way of learning is helping you or not. Okay, so always try to review yourself, like whatever you learn, see if things are working or not. If it is not working, then maybe you need to change your strategy again. Okay. I'm a beginner. I face an issue on when to use signal, when to use async pipe. I know this concept, but I get confused when to use which concept. Again, this thing you can gain confidence only after you are implementing them in a project and trying to put this work on LinkedIn or any other place where people who are more credible, maybe they can answer. Like, for example, you can create a project, talk about it on LinkedIn, try to put your understanding, what you have learned, put it there. Maybe if you are already following a lot of creator or lot of community members, tag them and maybe you can check with them as well. Can you guys, what do you think about this approach? You can basically question them and they can basically help you or recommend you things. Hey, maybe why not go with this approach or that approach, or maybe they can validate your work what you have did. But what you see right now, like remember, right, I was using async pipe, but I have switch it to signal, because right now I'm relying more on signals, and that's what Angular teams basically wants going forward. That's what I can see now from the Angular team, because there is something called as signal forms which got released, which means the signal topic is quite trending, and this is also helping Angular to achieve good, like it is helping us to also author them better. The authoring experience is also getting better day by day by the signal thing, and the signal is also making your code more and more declarative rather than doing imperative programming. So that's the one thing what I have seen. uh, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. Okay, so again, let me back and let me try to make this thing work. So we have a handle page change. Now I'm just thinking what will happen here. So okay, so now, all right. So now I need to have a one more property, if I am not wrong. Let me have that property here, which is that is going to be my current page. Okay, again I will be using signal here, which is one. So this is my current page and the signal is one. Whenever my signal is changing, I want to call this, right? Can I do that in computed? Okay, let me not think more in that direction. Let me first try to implement and then we can see how we can refactor this. Okay, so now we have a current page, which means I can get rid of this, right? I think so. no, let me still keep this. I'll tell you what I'll do with that, with this guy. Now this current page is a signal, and this signal to be changed. And whenever we try to click on next, so whenever we click on next, so we will click. So we can say that whatever you have the current page, add +1. Okay, and also we can do, right, we can change it to one page. Okay, let me just try to review this, like how this is better, or can we improve this, right? So now we have a handle page method, and we can say that whatever the current page is, because we are not creating two methods here, we're trying to handle this just with one method. I could have easily have next and previous, but I want to handle it with a single method. That's what I'm trying to do. So Hmm, let's see. Let's see if we can. If this is a better, or else I should. Maybe I can rely more on single responsibility principle here. That I think this button is responsible for next, and this is responsible for previous, something like that. So maybe I can. Let me go in that direction then. So I'll say handle next page. Okay, and I'm going to create that logic here. So handle next page. So what this will do first, so this is going to create, so this dot current page dot update, it is going to update this by 1. Okay, and if it does that, I don't want to use effect. So if it does that, then do I have a linked signal? This link signal is connected with this. Oh, so that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to update this, and once that is update, I'm going to call the API again, which is, I'm going to call the API. I'm not going to do to signal for sure. So I will say this dot URL API dot get paged URL. In the subscribe I have next, yes, and then I have an error. Okay, and this will change to paged URL response. Okay, set with the response, right? And this response is going to be dot. Okay, I think it's just response because we are all anyway handling it on the top, and this should basically do the job, if I'm not wrong. And same thing if I do for the previous page, so I can do that. I know I will be repeating a lot of code here, but we can refactor it. That's not a problem. But we just need to make it work first, and then we will see how we can refactor this. Okay, so we have this click for previous, and we have click for next, both. So click will do this. Now let's see how this thing works. So if I click on next, yes, can you see the page got changed? Click on next, page is changing. Next, see, I again did next, and I have only two records, and can you see now my button got disabled? Again go previous, previous to this, and yeah. And just in case if you want to change the page number, that also you can do. You can do it from here. You can change it to 5 records, and now you can see we have a 5 entry here, and you have all the shortened URL. So if you click here, you can basically go and see that, hey, you're your long URL. If I again open this short URL, I can open a long URL, which is, this is what I wanted to implement. And now can you see I just have 3 pages, because now each page will have 5 records. So I think I have total 14 records, so, and that's why it looks like this now. So very easy, right? Very easy to implement a server-side pagination in Angular. So the API was already ready, and I'm just trying to leverage all the API here. Now we need to implement this search. So whenever I do search, I should be able to get the record, right? Now to do that, let's see what we can do here. So can we use ng model? Yes, we can use that, and we can use ng model change, right? And that could be basically sending an event, and that event I need to pass it to the Angular. Hmm. That is also possible. I think we can do that. So let's see how we can do it here. Right. Okay. So let's see. Let me put here. Where is my text here? So here we need to bind ng model. So for that I need to have forms module, and this wrapped with an ng model where we have a search term. Okay. And this search term we can have here as a signal, I guess. Yes, we can use a signal, search term with a signal. And this search term we need to pass it in this get paged URL, right? Yes. So whenever the signal is changing, based on that signal we need to get a value, right? We need to fetch the value, and that will help me to set this page URL response, correct? Yes. Right. So what we can do here, let me just give it some time to think what I should do here. Signal which basically changes, and we have to do some debouncing as well. Okay. So that debouncing we could, okay, so what we will have an observable that we have to debounce, which means we need to convert this into an observable. So we can use two observable, and after that we can apply dot pipe. We can do debounce for 300 seconds, and that we could call. I think so we can do that. So we have to search it, right? So we have a debounce to do. Yeah, I think that is possible, but the only thing is I don't want to use effect. So how we can do that? So if I have a search term, this you can change it to linked signal, because linked signal will trigger, or you can use a computer that will trigger. Inside that will do the API call. That is my first thing what I'm thinking. Mm, the second thing would be the debounce query. Hmm. Okay. Just need to give it a thought. See, there is still a way I can do this, but I don't want to get into that. Let me think. What if I use? I think there should be a way. There should be a way. I'm not sure if there is any package which does this. So we have a search term, and this search term will give us a value. Correct? Okay. Let's do one thing. Uh, Something called as ng model change, and we can basically say that, hey, whenever this changes, you have to search, right? You have to do a search. Okay. Let's go with this. You have to search. So now we can have a search in the bottom, and this is how my method will look like. That is fine. Yes. We have a current page which we need to set to first page. We need to pass this and subscribe, and we can do this. This is okay. But the only challenge is like we need to have that as an observable. That is the thing. Okay, no worries. Let's first do this, and then we will try to figure out like how we can add debouncing here to the signals. I think there should be a way I can uh, search something there, because I don't want to load my APIs with multiple API requests. I'll tell you what do I really mean by that. So now if I search about, let me see what I can search, some unique thing. I can search about tailwind. See, can you see what is happening here in the network tab? This is what I don't want. So am I doing the search, because it should filter basically, right? But it is not filtering. and I don't know the reason why. Let's see if we, yeah, I think we still get all of this option, which means the search is not happening. If I pass tailwinds, I still see 5 record, which means there is something wrong with my backend API. Let me search here if it is correct. Tailwind is, let me change it to 5 just in case. If I execute, this works fine here. This is able to search, and this also returns only one data. Then what's going wrong here? Okay, because we are not sending the correct search term. That is the reason. So we can go in the API. I love this kind of error. Wow. So this has to be search term. You can save the changes and you can go here, and here now I can search about tailwind. Can you see now? I get tailwind. Yeah. So this guy was able to search because, but you see there was some flicker between the search, because what happens, right? Can you see now? Whenever like whenever there is a change, the API call happens, which is not good, which is not a good thing for the backend. Correct. Um, right. So let me let me take some questions. What I see from Toon Station. What are you using for backend? So for backend, I am using .NET, and this is how the .NET code basically looks like. Here, this is the one, the .NET, and here you can see there is a modules, and here we have all the, like, we are not using controllers, so we are using minimal API with Carter module. So we have our API ready, and for the front end, you are already aware. I think using debouncing is very useful here. Yes, yes, that's correct. You're absolutely correct. But that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if at all I want to use a debouncing, then first thing first, I need to have, because this debounce you can use it in RxJS. You need to mix RxJS and Signal together. So you see debounce RxJS. So this is what I want to use basically. So I want to use debounce with Signal. So let me see if there is something for sure. Let's check debounce with signals. Angular. I have seen some posts for sure. So I'm just trying to figure out like if I right direction. So if you see, right, yeah. So we have an input value, right, which is a signal, correct? And then you convert that into an observable. Wow. And then add your debounce, and you get a debounce input value, and that you basically just show it to the user. Nice. So whenever we get this debounce value, and that value we need to send for the search. Pretty great thing. And you can create some utility functions as well. Okay, this code makes sense to me now. Like you can create something like this as a utility function, where you have a create debounce signal, you pass in your initial value, you pass in how much delay you need, and this guy will basically return you two things. One is the source signal and one is the debounce signal. And now whenever you want to create, oh right, so this is how you create. So you'll get your search text and you will get your debounce search text. Wow, there is also a NGX signal operator. There are so many things already done by this is definitely from someone from the community. Let me search about this. If it is done by some of our community member, how do I do that? Yeah, let's go here. I want to see who did this. NGX signal operator. Okay, works for Angular 17 and above, TypeScript 5.2 and above. Okay, you have this input first input. Okay, he is still using something like this. Okay, you have effect width, and okay, you can convert it to observable. You put this debounce, you create this as an input as an observable. You can convert this back to an debounce input, and then maybe you can do a search. Looks like this is just basically the utility function, right? What they have created, right? So I see some suggestion and something from so I think ये गूगल एआई समरी की वजह से आजकल कोई भी वेबसाइट पर नहीं जाता, मोस्टली यही सोल्यूशन मिल जाता. Exactly, that's what I would like to say. Welcome to the world of AI, right? And this is, I think this is the next normal thing nowadays, to be honest, let me tell you. Because now we need to all adapt now to to get used to this AI thingy everywhere. Okay, now you just cannot run from AI. Okay, so what I was now thinking, I think I have one more question, or is something use debounce with switch map. Yes, of course. So we have to go with that because switch map will basically help me to cancel out my request. But what is the real problem here, right, Nick? I'm just trying to figure out, like, now currently I have a signal and you cannot use debounce on signal. So you need to convert that signal into an observable, and that observable basically you will have to use it in the constructor, like whenever there is a change, then you can use a pipe operator and you can add a switch map, and then inside that you have to do your API call. So that is the only thing here what I see. Like, I just already get it, like what has to be done, but I'm just trying to figure out, okay, will there be any other better way? That's what I'm just trying to still figure out. So let's go back to your trim URL. Let's try to do some trial and error. Let's see. I'm not against that anyway. So here we have this search term, and search term as an observable, and this I will try to change it to observable, and I can pass the search term. Cool. And here in the constructor, what we can do into search term dot pipe, and inside the pipe what you can do, you can add your debounce debounce I think it was debounce or debounce time, I'm not sure. Debounce of, I think it's debounce time, let's see, of 300 ms. And then after 300 ms, what you can do, right, you can basically go ahead and try to do your search, if I'm not wrong. And this is what is basically expected. And now let's see what happens if I try to do this. We can improve that. That's not a problem. And now if I search about tailwind, oh, it still does that because there is still a problem. Let's see why. Yeah, because we are using this ng on changes. Yep, don't need that anymore. Can get rid of this. Yes, and now this works now. So if I search about tailwind, now it just, can you see now it just does only for one. So again, if I remove that, if I remove this, just one search. If I again search about Angular, and I just got one request. So basically what I did here, I first tried to see, we can still make it neat and tidy. Maybe in the next session, like we can do some of the refactoring, but this is what I have did. So currently now I'm using this as my signal. So this is my signal, so I'm converting my signal to an observable because that's where you can apply debounce. And here I have my search term, and I'm a debounce time of 300 ms, and once that's done, then I'm subscribing to it, and that's pretty much it. Okay, and this basically does the job for us. Right, so now another question. So can you make a video for JWT? It's a very complex with this tech stack. Please use Bearer. uh, I'm not sure if I think so if I'm not wrong. If you go on my YouTube channel, I think there is already a video. Maybe you can just give it a shot. If you still don't understand that, do let me know. I think I have somewhere created and talked about a JWT. Yeah, so this is what the video I was talking about. It's a 30 minutes video. I have explained in and out about what is a JWT, how to create a JWT token in .NET 8 for secure authentication. So maybe you can video, but if you still have any doubt or question, DM me on Instagram or DM me on LinkedIn or whatever platform like. You can find me. Just DM me there. I will be definitely gonna reply to you with some good explanation. But yeah, if you want, or maybe in one of the upcoming session, maybe we can discuss about the JWT. Or else, let me also announce one thing. Recently, I think I had a community post. Maybe let me see if I can show it now. So there was a community post created by me, and outcome was quite interesting. So I'm interested to show you the outcome. Let me find the post first. Yes, this is the one. So maybe this can basically help you to understand, because here I had a poll created today, like I want to build a feedback form app to collect feedback during my talks. So I will be developing it on live stream. Maybe in session I will be explaining this, but the result was convincingly the .NET was winning. I think I have a lot of .NET audience here, so maybe that's why. So yeah, so I will be doing the stream maybe from tomorrow or maybe Monday, like daily. This time will be same. I will be doing it for 1.5 hour, like as I can. So we will be starting with this new project, and this will be an API project. So we will be creating this feedback form API. And trust me, please don't go just by the name. Feedback form, it will be a very basic the case, because I can explain you like what all things will be involved here to design such a feedback form. Because this is not just a simple CRUD application, like CRUD app, like where you will just put some normal form and it will fill to just one table. There will be a lot of things involved. Like you can create a dynamic event. So for you can have a form created for a different events. So basically you can create a event. After the create event is created, you can basically create a questions for that particular event, and for that particular questions you can have a responses. So there is basically still three layer of model which we need to design. So please don't consider just by this name feedback form app. So it is not a small one, it is going to be a big challenge as well for me as well. And that is what I'm going to do in the live stream. Let's see how things go. So I'm not up because we have AI, right, to help us. So I will be using AI as well, and maybe you guys can see how I leverage AI in my day-to-day life. So I'm not gonna tell you guys not to use AI. It's a good thing to use AI, as simple as that. But you just know what kind of things you are searching from AI, and if you are aware of those things or not. Okay, this will be exciting and we'll be learning. Yes, exactly. Oh, I'm also very excited about this, to be honest. Please build it live. Yes, that's the plan actually. See, whatever error I will be facing it, I will be showing it to you guys as well. So I'm not gonna be shy to not to show you error, because see, every developer face a lot of errors. So that's a very normal life of a developer. So no one can say that they are perfect in everything. Like everybody makes mistakes, and if you don't make mistake, then you can never learn. So as simple as that. So I always say, because mistakes teaches you. If you don't make mistakes, then maybe you cannot learn anything. So it's fine, and it's fine to do mistakes. Okay, so this is what it is, and let me just go ahead and try to finish up this, because I think we are already. I think we still have 8 minutes now to end the stream, and before that, okay, I think now we are also done with this, and this works with Signal and RxJS. Can you see now? That is the reason the name is like this, like RxJS interop. If you see here, right? I think Angular team did a really great job here to to give us something like this, where we can create signal to observable and observable to signal. Kudos to them. So now I can see my app is getting like it's about to get finished. So yeah, I'm able to search. Let me again do some search on Angular. Yes, and everything works fine. I think I have set preserve log, so that's why it's just not getting removed. So again, yeah, Angular. I did a wrong mistake, then this is what it shows. So what I can do, right? I can also fix that. I think that's a problem actually. So what we can do, if we have this for, okay, in the for we can have a if condition. So we can say add the rate if, and then we can have your add the rate else, something like this. And now if we don't have a record, or we can say if we have a record, then only we will show this for loop. Correct? So what is the condition? If we have this data, right? If we can just put it here, okay, this is the one what I wanted. Data dot length, okay, possible is undefined because yeah, I think that was still the issue, but I think this will still do the job. And if that is not the case, you can basically have here no URL found kind of a thing. And let's see if I do some wrong search. Yeah, no URLs found, which is good, right? And I think we are done. I think so. We have mostly covered most of this. If I'm not wrong, yes, I think yeah, covered most of the things. And I think there was one last thing, last request from one of the viewer, and that was about the search, right? If I'm not wrong, yes, you have asked about the search. So we have this justify center. So can we wrap to a div? That's what I'm thinking. And okay, justify center will be this thing. And what I wanted is just on the right hand side, I should have one option here. I need to have one option there. First of all, let's see if I can wrap this into a div, right? And yeah, this div here, I should have another div. Let's see, and we should have a select, and this should have a page size or something like that, and we can put here an option. Now the only problem is, right, we don't have that as a property. So what we can do, we can create that as a property, as a page size, and there you go. I think this should do the job. Yes, I think so. And okay, so the option shows here. I think something is breaking because you cannot have ng4. Yep, ng4 of size, which is in. I'm not going to go with this approach, of course. What I can do, rather, I can have @for, right, and do this something like this. You can get rid of that, and you can have a track of size. Let's refresh. You can say 5 per page, 10 per page, 20 per page, and 50 per page, something like that. This is what was requested, but I need to make size like things a bit better, so I can have a class with flex again, because here this is justify between. That's not correct. So if I put flex here, so I have this one. Okay, this get here, then I can get this one and cut this, and I can put it here somewhere. And yeah, this is what it is. And we can just say justify between, and then we'll have this one here and this one on this side. Okay, that's not a problem, but I wanted this guy to be in the center, so we need to add a width for sure. So, but can we have a width of 75%? I think so. There is something like that, and we need to just justify it as end. Okay, let's see. It's very interesting one. Okay, let me format this because I'm not able to understand. Okay, let's get rid of this div, which is unnecessary. Right, so now I have one select here, and this is the one. Here I will have to put width as 75%. So 7. Oh, I think there is something called as 3 by 4. Yes, 3 by 4. Yes, and now justify end. Okay, this basically will do the job, I guess. Justify center, then yeah, it keeps it not so center actually. You see, now this is what the width it has. Maybe what I can do, I can give this as width as 90%. Yep, this looks much better. So looks like to be between the center, and we have it here on the right hand side, and then we can change the page here, right? And now what we have to do, whenever that thing changes, we need to change the page, right? Now, how we can do that is whenever is changes, we can say current current page size, right? And we can make use of computed, and we can pass this dot page size, and this guy will basically go and get here. Okay, and okay, then we have this 10, but yeah, it's not a function, which is correct. Let's see what's going wrong. I just need to identify like what this is. The computer basically, I remember we can have another signal, which basically, what if I put it here as a linked signal, right? Still one and the same, because this will become writable now. That's what I wanted to do. So that becomes writable signals, and that basically fixes the job, I guess. Let's see. Now, whenever I'm changing, yes, that's good. So value still stick, but I need to do the API call. So how we can basically do that? So whenever this thing is changes, what we can do is we have to do the API call. Hmm. We what we can do, right? We have a search term, okay, but it is not dependent on that. It is dependent on page size. Correct? Yes. And this page size is coming from the top, so we can change it to this dot current page size, and this is, I don't know what is this. What is this issue? Current page size is a okay. Let me first change it back to how it was, and this will change to this dot current page size, this dot current page size, and let's see if everything still works fine. Yep, it works fine. Now we need to make sure that whenever this guy is changing, whenever this page size is changing, we have to trigger the API call, and that API call is nothing but this search. So what we can do is we can have a page size, okay, and we can change it to page size. And what I am thinking is, so whenever there is a change, we can call this linked signal, which is this. I think there is a lot of refactoring is required, but that you have to do a search, and we can pass it like this, and we can just return the new page. And yes, writable signal is not allowed in the computed. But did I use computed? Maybe I'm trying to do something wrong. Let's see. Writable to signal is not allowed in this. Okay, trying to write somewhere. The signal I'm just trying to search, and just trying to send the page size. That's what I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing something mistake here. Okay, sending this page size. Go back. Let me do undo. This will return me current page size. That's good. But how can I call that? That is interesting, because I need to return this for sure. I need to return this for sure, so that this will have my updated page size. Right? Okay, let me use something called as effect. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this a lot. So whenever there is a change, I can do a search, maybe. And let's see, change this to 10. And yes, it does a network call, and this changes to 10, and now we have two pages, right? Because we have total 15. And if I change it to 5, this changed to 5, which is nice. Let me get this error again, and let's see if it still breaks something in the console. No. If I change it to 20, then I want to see everything here. which is good. I cannot go next, I cannot go previous because there is only one page. Because we just have 15 records. If I make it to 5, then I will have 3 pages. I can do next, I can do next. Okay, I see a bug, I guess. Yes, I see a bug. Can you see now? I am not able to go to the third page. If I go to the third page, I again come back. Nice bug. So if I go on the third page, can you see? It has returned me to this again. So I was trying to do the third page, but the third page was not because I think because of this page size, I guess. Let's see if I can do like this. Yeah, this is allowed. There is a big problem with this side effect. There's some side effect is happening. If I go to the next, yeah, it is okay. I think when API was breaking, that's why okay, my backend is breaking because of this npg SQL thing. Okay, that's why maybe it is returning back. But now I think it's fine. First API breaks because I'm sending a page index as 0, which is not allowed. And I know where is this issue now. So what we need to check. So whenever we go on next page is fine, but we should not do this, right? Where we need to check. Yeah, I think so. This can do the job. But you like what was the problem basically? Like if you are on the first page, then the previous was not working because it is becoming 0 and 0 index will basically go and fail. So that's why the API was failing and it was not able to find the 0 index. So we need to fix that somehow. I'm just trying to figure out why is it doing multiple API call. Interesting bug with signals. Can you see there's two API calls, which means okay, I got the issue now. This guy is also doing the search, and that's what the problem is. So it is also doing the search, and if you remember the search logic, there we have something called as we are trying to send it to the first page. If you see this, right, search, and this is the culprit here. Okay, and this is the culprit here. Let's see how we can get rid of that, because we are using effect, and this effect is a problem for sure. That's why Angular team say that try to minimize the usage of effect as much as you can. Okay, now if I click next, see it works. If I click back, works. Click back, works. So effect, try to avoid. Now we need to fix this like somehow. Trust me, I can do that by creating a new method, but I want to rely more on this signal utilities. Like how like I think there was a way basically to do this thing with this linked signal, but I might be missing something here, and I don't know what is that exactly. So in the link signal, we are returning this. Can I do the API call here? That is a question. Let's see. Let's see if we can do some console. Console.log. Page size changed to this. Okay. Let's go to your console, and if I change it to 10, yeah, there is no console log. Which means it is not getting triggered, is it? This thing is not getting triggered. I don't know why. What if I just say here as this dot page, and in the effect, maybe I'm doing something terribly wrong. Console.log, current page size changed to this. Yeah, current page size is 5. I change it to 10. Yes, changes. Yeah, we are able to track it. Maybe this link signal, we cannot add some logic inside this link signal. Let's see how is this link signal implemented. So we can have a computation. We can pass some option, equality options. That is okay. Okay, it should have a source, and then you can have this source and value. We can check the equality, and this returns the right of the signal. Okay, which means now this is also a signal, and this has to be updated whenever we change the page size. Okay, selected is this. Okay, if right, and this is selected per page. Now we need to identify the on change. Okay, let's do that. Mm, on change, selection change, I guess. We can set this to side, but it's fine. On select change, we can call this again on select change. We can set it to this and we can pass this one, right? And this is the page size. Okay, that's fine. Let's go. And it says that, okay, URL is here. Now, if I change it to 10, is it doing the API call? No, it's still 5. If I change it to 5, no, nothing happens, which means this getting triggered. Selection change. Okay, my bad. This should go here. Yeah, there is something called as change. I think I was right. Okay, and now let's see if it works. So now if I change this 5 to 10, yep, now the API call happens and it is changing it to 10. If I change it again back to 5, then it is again back to 5 and you can just see 5 records. And I think so. Everything works what I was basically expecting. I think someone has requested this change, so that's what I was trying to do, the server side. And I think this thing now perfectly fine. I can see all the 20 like when you say 20, I just have 15 records. If I say it to 10, you can see 10 records, and then I have 2 pages, right? And then I can do previous as well. So now there is no previous because see we don't have option. And if I try to do next, then yes, I don't have next option. But if I see it to 5 page, then we will have 5, 5, and then 4 because we have total 14 records. And bingo, everything works as expected. And let's do the search one time just to be sure. Angular. Yes, it's search about Angular and the page is also less. Let me search about Tailwind. And then I just have one record here. If I go and click, you can see the Tailwind docs is getting clicked with the shortened URL. And yes, pretty much it from today's session. Let me see how many people are here. I think I see there are 4 or 5 people already. And yeah, that's what I can see now. So tomorrow again I will be coming live to complete this one, this last, which is this delete API, and we will also try to do some refactoring on this particular page component. We will try to refactor this to some good extent, like for example putting the private properties, I don't know, maybe somewhere here, man. I don't want to have it here, but yeah, if you don't do this, then will complain, so I'll have to put it here at the top because the usage is just below, right? So you need to have it here on the top. But yeah, something some kind of refactoring is required here for sure. Get rid of this. So we will be doing that maybe in the tomorrow session where we will try to see, because here can you see, right? This whole code is kind of similar, which I don't want to repeat myself. So that's what I'm going to do it in the next session. We just try to make it work now. So the next session will be completely based on refactoring, and I will show you the strategies like how I am thinking in a way to refactor this piece of code. Okay. So that will be done in the next session. And just in case if you have any question or anything for me, then you can ask me now. I think I'm gonna end the stream in the 1 minute because I'll just try to review whatever I have worked till now. Let me remove all of those unnecessary things. This looks good, good, good. Here I have to do a lot of work. That's fine. Okay, handle page URL, which is good, which means when in page update, we can update the page the current value. If I say next, pass a state, and that I can set. Toon Station, good work, bro. Toon Station, can you tell me what is your real name? Because I'm for sure this is not your real name. So, if just just in case, if because I'm very curious to know now your name. Because I cannot call you every time Toon Station. So I was just thinking in the direction now how the refactoring will take place here, but again, I want to keep it for tomorrow. But it's gonna be fun for sure. So please make sure to join tomorrow, whoever are here who are watching. It's gonna be a real fun to do the refactoring for all of this. So your name is Dhruv. Hello, Dhruv. Right. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to me till here. So I would like to say bye bye and good night. I think it's already too late. I imported TTP in the account, so I had to use it. Oh, that's not a problem. It's fine. So bye bye, guys. See you maybe tomorrow, same time.